Hello, FewCandy here, and welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines. And last time out, we started our first campus build in Auridon. We used the University of Wisconsin-Madison for a little bit of inspiration, and I think it sort of started to shape up quite nicely. However, we did not get very far into it in the last episode, so we only managed to level it up to level 2. Now, as soon as I was done filming the episode, I actually realised I made a massive error in this, and one that could have really helped us level it up a little bit more in that opening episode. And that was not even thinking about and not considering using policies. Now, policies is not something we've really touched on in Auridon at all yet, so that is what I'm going to jump into right off the bat today to see if we can try and get this campus levelled up a little bit further. Now, the policy that I'm talking about in particular is this education boost. So what it does is it prioritises education over working for young adults, but also increases the education budget. So that is something that we're going to have to keep a little bit of a close eye on, because we are kind of losing quite a bit of money at the moment, but we have got quite a lot in reserve. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Now, the one big caveat we have with this policy at the moment is that most of our jobs are industry focused, where education is less of a priority for those particular jobs. So we've got Ori Oil and Woodpecker's Brewery, all industry, and that's really where most of the jobs are in the city. We've got very few offices actually in so far. We've got a few dotted around, but really not very many. So what we need to do is be a little bit careful about where we're putting education boosts. We don't want to put it on all of the residential districts, because then we'll cause massive problems with our industries, and that's actually where we're making money at the moment. So we definitely don't want to screw that up. So what I'm thinking is that I'm definitely going to put it on the two rich districts, as it were, over here. So we'll go to Bill Air and we'll give them education boost, and Stanton Island as well can definitely have education boost. Now, because Iron Grandpa District and Woodhaven are a little bit closer to these two industrial areas, I'm going to leave those without education boost on at the moment. I could go as far as to say schools out, but I'm not going to. I'm going to just leave that for now so that we still try and get as many people as possible getting to the university. And now over here, I am just going to extend these districts out a little bit as well. So we'll just pull out Kingfisher's Enclave, so it's covering these residential buildings right here, and then we'll also put another district on this area as well, so that we can put on some policies if we should so wish. So I think what I will do is actually probably leave Forest District for now, but then with the Kingfisher's Enclave, let's put some education boost onto that, and also onto Monument Valley. So we do have quite a few areas with education boost now on, and hopefully that will start to bring in more students, which is what we desperately need over here to get it leveled up. And let's just give it another grant for an academic work so we can keep that coming up. But yeah, if we whack this up to fast forward now, hopefully, yeah, we'll start to see those number of students climb a little bit, which, yeah, it's bobbing up and down. It's bobbing up and down, but it should generally go up a little bit at least. And I'm hoping that we can get that up to level 3 and unlock a whole load of new buildings. Now, the other thing to help education as well is just checking elementary and high school usage, and high school is really quite tight. It's borderline. Elementary, we seem to have absolutely tons of capacity. That's not too bad a thing. But with the high schools, there is a really obvious bit that is completely uncovered, which is Bill Air and Stanton Island over here. And now, I did originally say I'm not going to put a high school out here because I didn't think it was realistic for people to come out to islands to get to the high school. However, there's quite a few residents out here now, so I feel like it is a reasonable thing to assume that there is a high school out here. And actually, this little smallish peninsula area here is probably not a bad spot for it. So what I am going to do is rearrange this area a little bit to fit in a high school. And actually, because we haven't used it yet, I'm thinking, and it also has quite a nice modern vibe, which I think will fit in with the whole Stanton Island area, I am going to use the Institute of Creative Arts over here. So let's just go ahead and plop that in for the moment so that we can take a look and then organise our assets. And I can see already that cemetery is full, so let's just use our little trick with move it and reset it. So first things first, I've just moved the cemetery up to this back corner and added in a very small car park next to it, so that people visiting the cemetery have somewhere to park their cars. And then let's move the crematorium over to here as well. And I think what I will do is move it here just to turn it round so that it's right off the end of this car park and sort of facing out over this beach area. So if we line up that fence nicely with the back of the car park there as well, then we do have the opportunity to extend it nicely around the building. So we can just grab that industrial fence from Find It and bring it all the way around. And I think actually, because of the way the textures are blending there, what we will do is use a 1-unit concrete road here so that we don't get that kind of broken gravel feel to it, which I think would be better all the way along. Now with the high school, I would like to... This is a really, really nice building and the back of it is like lovely. So if we just take a look at it, we've got... Oh, as everyone scrambles to get back inside. We've got this lovely little green walkway and this nice wall here. So what I'd like to do is out the back of this have a really nice green grass area that kind of extends onto the back of that walled garden. And the other thing to bear in mind with this as well is we have a side door there, a side door the other side, and also the main front entrance. So there's quite a few different entrances going on within this school. So what I quite like, I think, is this just positioned right in the middle of this area like that. And then on this side, what we can do is do a few different sports fields to go with it. So we could bring out a basketball court and a tennis court over here. But what we will do is just spin them round so that they are actually parallel to this road rather than being up against it. Because then we can place them quite closely in together, just like that. So that, yeah, they're in easy access, but up right next to that road there. And we'll just move that actually even closer so that fills in that concrete texture there. We don't have any breakage. And we can get rid of some of these power lines, I think, in a minute and sort all of that out. And now actually look at this, I'm thinking we've got a little bit more room, so we may as well add in our by-the-side football pitch as well that we used in the first high school in Auridon. And there you go, you see, already we have managed to upgrade the university to level 3, renowned. So yeah, that was easy. All you had to do is put on that policy. So there you go. So yeah, that's great. This gives us a whole load of new buildings. So once we've done with this high school, we're going to scoot back over there and we are definitely going to get involved with placing some more buildings and extending our campus out. Now out in front of the high school, I would like to bring in a reasonably big car park again. So I think we will just use car parking lot roads for this. And we could just connect it up to the road like that. So it is a slightly odd shape, but I think it works. And then just thinking about these entrances as well, we definitely want to make sure that they make sense. So we're going to join up a path to this road. And what we will do with that is just use a little bit of brush tool here to extend out that same pavement texture in a bit of a row all the way down to the end here. So I'll just adjust that so it's nice and straight. And then we can do some nice garden detailing in within this little green square here. And of course, so people can actually walk there, we will put a path underneath that as well. We'll have to turn off collision to do that under the brush tool. So yeah, just like that. And then exactly the same thing this side as well. I would like a path leading out of this entrance and up to this junction here. And we just want to be a little bit careful about this terrain because obviously with a plain concrete path, it conforms to it. So let's make that nice and smooth here. And we do have a tram stop right here, which is really handy for getting to the high school. So I think there's good public transit links to and from it there. And yeah, we already have the elementary school here as well. So the one other thing we could introduce that we haven't got very many of is a library. However, I don't think the vanilla library really kind of goes with this building or this particular vibe of this area. But the library that we have already used, that's already in the asset list, one from the workshop, definitely feels like it fits this building a lot better. Much more modern and kind of arty, for want of a better word for that. So yeah, we're definitely going to put this in. I think what we will do with this one is actually leave it up on this top level, but it does mean that we're going to have to break this path that we just put in and sort that out. So let's just move the library over slightly to give us a little bit more room to work with, and then we can get our terrain tools and just smooth out the back of this slope. So have this one kind of exposed corner there, but what we can do with that is use some rocks to decorate it up. Given that this is a rocky island, I think one large rock we can get away with. And what we can do to help it make it look a little bit more sensible is include some other ones further down this road here, so that it's not just completely sitting alone on its own little place. So yeah, I think we'll have a couple more in there, just sort of blended into each other to make it a little bit larger. So that's sort of surrounding the library with larger rocks. I think last but not least for this little area is to come in and do a little bit of detailing around these spaces. And there we go. So I think that has filled the space pretty well. So I have actually just plopped in 2 different offices there, and also the community pool asset, which, you know, kind of make it look like it's the high school pool is what we're going for there. But yeah, these 2 offices, because I think they're super modern, so they're not sort of too out of kilter with the Creative Arts Institute, but to make them look like additional buildings for the high school. So yeah, just more classrooms essentially to extend that out and make it into a little bit of a bigger campus area that we have going on here. So yeah, I feel like that has turned out all right. It's slightly odd having this cemetery right on the side of the high school, but I think it's okay. I think it's okay. It'll have to do. And then I also have as well tried to keep nice open green space here, because I know I haven't done really enough of it in Auridon in general. So yeah, trying to keep a bit of open grass there opposite these houses down to the high school, I think looked all right. But yeah, I think that will do for this little high school campus area, which I think is kind of, yeah, it's not looking too bad out on this peninsula here. Blends reasonably well into the whole Staten Island modern vibe. So yeah, liking how that has turned out. Now let's head back on over to our university and see what buildings we now have available to us since we have leveled up. So there were a few different unlocks. We've got the Liberal Arts Library, we also have the Art Club, the Commencement Office and the Academic Statue, and we also now have the School of Environmental Studies. What I would like to do is bring it down this end, because when we have a little look at it, it is very blocky and very modern and quite a different vibe to the buildings that we have going on down here, these slightly older looking buildings that we have. So we will use it down this end, and what we are going to do, because it just screams out for it, is put a road underneath this bridge here, which just gives a really nice little viewing platform. I feel like it just has to be done with this asset. It has to be done. So we can spin that around slightly. We get the nice trees along the edge of the road there. And I have tried to take these off with Bob, I would add. And for some reason, these alders are not wanting to be removed. So we will go with them. So I think like that is okay. But also, of course, I do just want to take off those parking spaces as well before I forget. So let's remove those. And we can come in and do some detailing around the bottom end of this and all around it. But Here we've got the front, so we do want to be a little bit wary of that, and I'd like to just bring in, and I'm thinking actually I am going to use yet another parking lot road just to frame off the front of this. Just like that, so there's some extra parking right in front of the building for them. But I think that will fit in reasonably well there. And then looking at the other buildings that we've unlocked, so we have got the commencement office. I'm just going to plop that down here for now, and we'll do something with that in a second. But we do also have the liberal arts library, and I'm going to place in 2 of these so we can really crack through the leveling up here. But what I like about these is that actually the distance of the concrete that we have on the side here really aligns nicely to the end of this faculty building. Yeah, so if we line that up, we can get that hedge lined up with the corner of the faculty building there. And then it flows together reasonably nicely. And exactly the same thing, if we take this other building and do the same thing on this side, and we'll move the power line in just a second. And line up that hedge with the side of the building there. Bring it down to the same height. Then what we do is we have this space in the middle as well, and that can really nicely fit the academic statue that we have also unlocked. So if we place that in and just move it in with Move It, I'm just going to put it in the centre like that for now. And of course what we will do is use Bob just to get rid of those alders. They're not in the way, and also the bushes as well, because they're overlapping in a place that we don't want them to overlap. And then we have this that we can really nicely centre in between these 2 library buildings. And now, of course, with this needs some detailing up. But before I do anything else, we do need to get some paths in so that people can access these buildings. So, yeah, there we go. I think that's looking okay. And then around this fountain, of course, what we can do is come in with a bit of tiling detailing, just to extend this statue out, same as we did with the academic fountain as well. So we can use prop line tool here just to place in the tiles, and we can get it perfectly in the centre. We can just move it nicely up to the path there to extend it out. And what I would like to do here as well, we're going to have to move that tree at the back there, but let's just extend that out so that it goes straight back towards this faculty building as well, so that we get a feel of everything being connected. I'm going to do exactly the same out the sides here too, so we get this nice cross shape in the middle just to frame off that statue just a little bit better, which I think looks quite nice. And I'm just seeing that this is not in the centre, so let's just move that over and make sure it's properly in the centre. So yeah, I think that just helps to, give a little bit more focus to the statue there and puts it in this nice little courtyard area at the back. And there's doors access out there from the back of the libraries and also from the back of the faculty building there. So yeah, I think that looks quite cute. And what we will do, so people walk up and down it as well, is just add in a plain pavement path underneath that we won't be able to see. We will of course be able to see the lights, so what we want to do is make sure that they are moved over right to the side so that they're kind of on the edge of the path, which I think is absolutely fine. We'll just grab those nodes and move them over just a tiny bit so they're sitting right on the edge. Looks a little bit better. Yeah, happy with how that kind of looks in the middle of those buildings there. And then over here we can add in a couple of the smaller university assets as well. And we could even introduce another cafeteria over here. I like having the cafeteria up against these road, and then these 2 smaller buildings here I think works pretty well there. Now in terms of the commencement office, what I would actually like to do is swap it out for this gymnasium, so have it in front of this little plaza here, I think, and next to the outdoor study area, so there's a little bit more greenery and a little bit more space around it is what I'd like to see there. And we will come in and swap these alders out so that it makes more sense with the Auridon environment. And then if we just make sure it's in place, what I will need to do is just move this plaza up just a little bit so that it is centred again with the commencement office. See, I like how that looks up against the outdoor study area here, and with the plaza centred nice in front of it. And then with the gymnasium, I'm actually going to move it out alongside this road here next to the cafeteria. creating a little bit more space behind it, because then I think what we can do here is actually introduce some university housing. Now clearly we don't want the ferry terminal here, so I am going to go ahead and move it. So yeah, it's very much just a temporary solution, but it will do for now. I want it to be in the port, but we're still very much a way off doing that, so it can stay here for the moment. But we do definitely want ferry connection in here for this university, so I am going to add in another ferry harbour here. And we will, of course, lower this all the way down so that we don't have people jumping out of the ferries. And I think it's always much lower than I think. But I think that'll be okay, and we can check that in a second. So let's go ahead and join up this road here. I am just going to smooth that slope out just a little bit so it's a bit of a gentler transition down to this ferry harbour here. Now, we can use keys. An episode doesn't go by without me using keys, it seems. But I think we will just use it here just to finish this off nicely. I think like that looks quite nice, and then we've got the stairs down, so we can definitely do some paths up to the back of that and hope to get people walking down there. And what I will do to facilitate that is unlock this segment here, and then we will add a node right in the middle and use... Oh, we're still renowned. We've lost students again, so do you know what? I don't think we're going to get past level 3 in this particular episode, but that's alright. That's still a win. Yeah, let's use node controller here just to put in a crossing right down the middle. And I definitely didn't want that node that I've just accidentally put into the key there, so let's get rid of that. And now I think at the end here, just to frame this off nicely as well, we will add in another rock. I'm just going to use a vanilla rock here, which I think will look okay over the end here. Let's just move it around so we don't have debris on the road portion. Yeah, that's not too bad, and we can also add to it with a couple of other rocks coming down to the beach here. And we've got the rocks the other side, so it doesn't look too a mess. And just to do one last little framing off, I'll add some of the more broken rocks to match the other side, just in like that. And then, of course, before I forget, let's actually put in our ferry line as well. So I'll just connect this up like that. And then we can drag the ferry line down. So I am just going to bring it straight down from prepare to market and round the corner to here. And I don't know how many people will use this because they've obviously got Metro straight up to there. I want to bring out the trams down into the university as well, so they will have other options. But for now, that'll be okay. Now just heading over back to this area, we have residential demand. So what I would like to do is put in some housing and kind of make it look like university dorms, but actually have it not be the dorms and have it be residential, because we've got plenty enough attractiveness to get up to level 4 now. All we need is students and academic work. So let's just go ahead as well and give another grant there so we can start working towards that. We are on track. We just need the people. So let's get some more people in. So I am actually just going to take a road and convert this into a crossroads, because that is not too busy going down to the disaster memorial there. So I think that that is okay to do. We're going to bring this straight out like that, and then just straight across for now in a slightly non-uniform pattern, just like that. And we'll join this all up with paths and connectivity afterwards too. So these are the assets that I want to use very heavily repeated in this area. Yeah, these little small high density buildings, 3x3. Because what we can do with these is actually, again, merge them. Because they fit together really nicely to create like a longer kind of chain of buildings. But what we want to do is just make sure we've got everything completely lined up perfectly. Yep, so that it works at the front and the back. And then, of course, we need to reset it so that we've got same colours going on here. But yeah, it makes like a nice longer bank like that. And granted, we've got the bit in the top there, but I think that is okay. And we can, again, extend it just that little bit further by adding in a third block too. So yeah, what I would like over here is lots of these repeated. So what I'll do is take this pattern and copy it and add in loads of these like big banks of dormitories. And there we go. So yeah, we've got a few different blocks. We've got a couple of L-shaped blocks going on here as well, because again, they fit together pretty nicely like that. Kind of getting lots of different bright colours in here as well, which I thought added a little bit of kind of, I don't know how else to say this, but artiness to the liberal arts campus. But one thing I will do is take off this trash can from the back of them because I don't like how that looks. So yeah, let's remove all of those because it looked a bit rubbish up here against the quay. So yeah, what we'll do now as well is bring out a few different road networks, and what I'm going to use in here is use a 1-unit road with parking around the outside, and I will flip this around in a second so it's actually going the right way round. But if we bring it down like that, and on the end here as well actually, sorry, is just a perfect opportunity for a tiny bit of parking lot road just to finish that off. But yeah, let's turn this road around so it's going the right way around for right-hand traffic, and then they can park all the way along the edge around these buildings. I think actually, yeah, I am just going to take a plain concrete road out here so that there is no markings on there, because I think that looks a little bit better for coming out in front of that block of houses. And similarly, I'm actually going to do the same up here as well. So just bringing out this plain concrete road so we don't get it looking like actual roads and it just looks pretty plain pavement-y. But of course what we do need to do is lots of detailing to finish this all up. And what we will of course do is bring in lots of walking paths to connect up all of these different areas. So to connect it in down the side of the commencement office here, all the way down to the back of the main building, and then going on into the halls of residence down that side as well. So there's lots and lots of walking opportunities. And of course we will bring it down and onto the quay here so they can get down to the ferry, most importantly, from these houses too. Now just to check what's happening with the ferries as well, we do have 9 people travelling on this ferry and actually 14 people got off. So people are using this connection, which is great. And after the episode with the Statue of Liberty as well, there were calls to increase the ferry size and download different sized ferries. What I can actually do, because I've got the improved public transport mod on, I can just increase the capacity of them, because these are quite big ferries and I kind of think they would have more than 50 people. So I am going to put it up to actually to 150. Maybe that's a little bit too much, maybe a little bit cheaty, but that's what we'll do here. So yeah, they've got a capacity of 150 now, and that will hopefully start to clear some of these really busy spots that we have going on here. So yeah, Stanton Island Ferry is definitely very busy, and also Prepare to Market is also the other one that is absolutely rammed down there. Lovely to see, but let's help them out a little bit. So hopefully that ferry capacity will help them out there. Now there is just one other thing that I want to address today before we start doing some detailing in here, and that is just a little bit of offices just to fill in some of these gaps around here, because there are some quite nice office assets that I think we can fit into this space that will just help to start to increase this density that we have going on here, add a little bit of height to the area as well. So the asset that I'm actually thinking of is a big, bulky, blocky office, no other real way of describing it, which is this one, which is quite nice and tall, fits together so smoothly, and without any move it as well. I would add into blocks, and you can even do it into a big block of 4 if you wanted to as well, just to extend it out. But I think we will just do 2 here, just like that. But yeah, what that gives us is just that extra little bit of height again next to the science centre here, so that the science centre isn't quite so alone, I suppose, in its tall nature around this area. And then just to add a couple of little bits around it, I'm going to put in a couple of these buildings here. And they have a little passageway, if you can see, all the way through the middle. So actually they don't sit that nicely together. So I am going to just move it here, overlap them very slightly, so that that pillar in the middle is overlapping there. And that, I think, just helps to give it a slightly better look. Yeah, just like that. And then it's a bigger building than what we get when we just place them in individually, and just looks a little bit smoother and more consistent than just placing them in next to each other, even though they do line up there. So yeah, I like how that looks, and that's kind of a secondary office option to this one, and they go together reasonably nicely in terms of the colours. And I said that was the final thing, but there was one other thing that I did want to do today, and that was start looking at the sports options. We have a few different options here, but the one that I think I would like to use is the track and field stadium. So if we just go ahead, we'll just place it in with Anarchy just for a second, and then we can move it into the position that we want before we do the road. So what I would like is this kind of sitting out on this edge over here. A little bit like that, just behind these pools of residents. We're going to have to, it's going to push the terrain out into the water there, so we're going to have to do a little bit of smoothing to iron that out. Although it's not a stadium, I feel like it looks quite cool out around the back of these pools of residents here, sitting on the edge. I don't seem to be able to get rid of all of the trees with Bob, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that, but we'll have to make do for now. But that's okay. That's okay. We can come in and put a few firs in between them and try to blend them in a little bit there. And here as well at the front, I will take off all of the car parking spaces, because what we can do here is put in a massive car park of our own. So we just trim that back. Now we do have this road connection coming in through here, so I think what I will do is extend that on so we've got decent traffic connections coming up into this, towards this stadium. And we will just bring that right up to the door and bring that across there. And then from here, we can do a whole massive load of car parks. And there we have the parking. And now I have as well, and I've just spotted all the traffic lights, so let's take them off. And I have as well upgraded this road to a 4-lane road, just so that we've got capacity, because we need another collector. So this is the main collector, which isn't really having buildings built up against it, which will take them right down into the downtown. But we definitely want another collector that's going to run in around this side. So that is what I have done there. So this through road as well will likely act as a bit of a collector as it joins up these two 4-lane roads here. But I think for now that is fine. And it's a little bit touch and go here, but in a weird way, I quite like these trees being on the edge of the street here. It's sort of like street trees really overhanging, and I think it adds quite a nice little effect in amongst all of these big, bulky, pretty dense buildings. And let's just continue to take off all of these traffic lights here because we don't want those on, and we'll make this the main road, so giving way, coming onto it from every direction, just like that. So yeah, now we have the 4-way coming up here, up to here. Now the other thing we need to think about is transit into this area. Now I am going to bring in the tram as mentioned, which is going to flow through here, which will bring them up like that. But I think also bringing the metro round is going to be a good idea. And it's very likely I'll add in monorail to this point, seeing that the downtown is actually only there. We're not too far away from it, although not to get up your hopes, it is still a few episodes away yet. We have all of this whole area that we need to fill as well. Not necessarily before it, but we're coming up to it. We're coming up to it. So I think actually we'll take one of these ones, which we haven't used yet, which sits really nicely over the 4-lane road like that. What we will do here is get our metro line from the other station, and we'll bring this out. Let's make sure it's raised. We'll bring this out pretty straight like that. And then I want this one to flow up straight to the road here. I'll have to redraw in that power line, which is going round to the ferry terminal. And we'll curve this in nice and smoothly so we get a nice nice connection between the two. And then just to act as a reminder, we will curve this round the edge of the bay here and just add a little end so that we know that that is still going to continue on down that direction somewhere. And then in this area here, what I'd like to do is introduce a few more of the university buildings. So we'll have another study hall, another gymnasium, and also I actually think we will have another library down here as well. There's a bit of a kind of extended campus this way. Now with the gymnasium, I think I would like it to face in off the car park this way, because the front of it is pretty grand, and I think it looks pretty nice facing in towards the stadium like that. So actually we'll bring it out like that and we can do some detailing up in the front of that to make that make sense. And with the study hall, I think I'll put it on this corner here so that when you're looking from those offices you come down and see it there, side onto this road. I think looks okay, and we'll actually move the library in right up next to it as well. And I'm going to push this back slightly so that we can do a bit of a courtyard plaza area in front of it. And now the noise over here is pretty intense. So I think what we'll do in this space is just a couple more offices just to flesh this out just a tiny bit. So just a couple of buildings in here. These two I quite like. When you stagger them, it gives quite a nice effect there all the way around the building actually. It works reasonably well like that. Just having two of those up next to each other. And these two are very, very similar, so that's why we've put them in there. And also I think it makes a nice transition between the ultra modern and then going down into this more white concrete brick. It transitions it a little bit in my mind. So I think with that, this is this area near on complete. We've still got quite a lot more to do of the campus and we are slowly getting there. We just need more students. So we've got up to level 3. We've fleshed out this area a little bit more along this road, so we just need to come in and do some detailing. So there we have it, and it's very much more of the same of what we were doing last episode. So I actually just put in a park here. I used multi-network tool actually to unlock the pathway so that I can change them to pavement paths rather than gravel paths, because I thought that just fitted in with this area a little bit better, being that it's higher density. And then extended the paths outwards, a little bit of trees, that sort of thing. We've just got a little hedged garden in here, and we'll get rid of that power line eventually when we can. Little food court over here to go with these offices, and then very much more of what we were doing last time. So lots of tree-lined roads, sharp path patterns, a few benches here or there. Outside the front of the library, we've kind of given it a bit more importance here by using some tiling pattern, a few benches along the side there, and of course a fountain in the middle. Down by the offices, we've got a few benches dotted in here and there, but not much else really there. Very, very simple. We've got a few benches around the sports hall here. I've added in some fence as well, just to give it a little bit of extra security. We've got hedges here to offer protection against the halls of residence that side. And then a similar thing here, we've got a fountain outside the front of the gymnasium as it runs down towards the athletics stadium as well there. And then scooting on over to the other side, again, very much more of the same, tree-lined roads, lots of paths, all the way around here. And I've just added in lots more fencing, extended out the hedge and concrete pattern that comes with the gymnasium at the side there, and added in some benches just to give that a bit more flow. And then in and around these halls of residence, I've used a little bit of undecorated zoo path here just to get the right kind of texture that I wanted within this courtyard area here. And I've just noticed all my plants from there are missing, so I will go ahead and put them back in. Not sure what happened there. And yeah, lots of fence coming down this road down to the ferry, a few rocks. We've obviously connected up the quays with paths so that people can walk down from the top as well. And then, yeah, lots more rocks on the beach here, just over that corner. A bit of a rocky corner, as the theme is going throughout Auridon, it seems, on the waterfront. We've got another one just there as well. And that is really it. So super simple, but we have obviously nicely expanded this out, made it to level 3, got a couple more levels to go, and we will be expanding it out over this side of the road for the last faculty building, potentially another sports facility, and the rest of the buildings that we will unlock as time goes on. So that is it for today. If you have enjoyed this video, a like below is really, really appreciated. And also a comment to let me know any suggestions for the names that's still to be determined for this campus. But any likes and comments you give me really helps me out on the YouTube algorithm and is always appreciated. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.